Take a look at the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Of course, if you're not invested in this market, you've missed out on at least 12% upside this year. So far, the NSE index is up 12%. Let's now cross to the stock exchange to get a perspective on what's going on today. Peter Adebola, Managing Director at BGL Securities, is standing by. Peter, like I mentioned, the market is up 12% already this year. What's the situation like today? We know it fell back a little bit yesterday.
Yeah, thank you, Wole. Looking at what had happened in the market today, the market had already gained about 0.3%, making the Hosha index to go up today, as well as market capitalization. You agree with me that market capitalization is actually above 10 trillion. It's about 10.1 trillion naira now. And looking at the market today, the prices are moving up basically by non-banking stocks, driven largely by Nestle, which currently moved from 756 naira to 790 naira now. Not that alone, we have other prices moving like that of Julius Baja and WAPCO. They are trending up right now in the market. For instance, Julius Baja has moved about 9.9% today to move from the price of 56 naira to about 62 naira.
All right.
So
let's talk a bit about Julius. Let's talk a bit about Julius Berger there. A bit surprising, the move we've seen this year. Why do you think there is so much interest in Julius Berger right now?
Yeah, the movement in Julius Baja, in my opinion, is out of the fact that the stock has been undervalued for a time, that people are not looking at it. This is a stock that has earnings per share of about 6 naira, and usually we know that the last dividend they paid is 2 naira 40 kobo. So by virtue of what they do every year and taking cue from what their current earnings per share is a stock that its value is supposed to have been higher than what it is now. So I think that is what some analysts have actually analyzed, and they discovered that the price at which it is now is supposed to be higher than higher than what it is, and that is why the price has kept moving up. And I strongly believe that probably when you get to about 66 naira, we may see a kind of reverse in the price of Julius Baja.
Okay, of course, we've seen some volatility in some stocks recently, particularly the smaller companies like ICO. But let's talk a bit about Nestle. Yeah. Nestle now to 790 naira. I mean, I'm sure a year ago, many people would not have anticipated this, but clearly it is happening right before our eyes. This is a stock that, who knows, maybe one day we'll hit 1,000 naira. Your thoughts on the interest we're seeing on that counter?
Yes, if we look at Nestle, many foreign investors, they actually have preference for this stock because it's one of the stocks that they have been bidding for some time now. And you will agree with me that this is a company that pays dividend twice in a year. It pays dividend towards Christmas, and after the results, their audited account, which normally come in February or early in March. So because of this, many people are positioning for this stock, most especially because it's an income stock, for them to be able to take advantage of the dividend that they are going to declare very soon. That's why we are seeing a lot of interest in Nestle Food PLC now, and we are likely to see that until they release their results, probably late next month or early in March.
Well, everybody is keeping an eye on that results, earnings season.
Exactly.
Of course, it would kick off, like you mentioned, sometime late next month. But let's now move on to the oil and gas space. We've seen Forte Oil gain significantly this year, up over almost 90%. We've seen Eternal Oil up well over 100%. So clearly there's some interest, some rebound happening in the oil and gas space. What do you think is driving that, given all the of course, what we've heard about the deregulation of the sector, that didn't happen last year as widely anticipated. What do you think is driving stocks in that sector right now?
Okay, now if you look at a company like Forte Oil, this is a company that is coming from loss position even to a profit position now. And if you look at the value, this is a stock that has been trading below 10 naira before, and they just discovered that this stock is a bit undervalued, and that is why you see investors creating interest in this stock so as for the price to get to a fair value. Now, if you look at O&O2, this is a stock that last year the stock was trading above 40 naira. But currently is trading below 15 naira. So you agree with me that most of the stocks listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange were actually undervalued, most especially stocks listed under petroleum marketing subsector. So because of this undervaluation, people are actually looking at these stocks and they are looking at deriving value from them. And you also, just as you have said, even though the regulation did not happen last year as people expected, but government is actually making effort to see that the sector is completely deregulated. And what you are going to see is that people will continue to position themselves for stock listed under this subsector. And moving on, you are going to see many other stocks listed under this subsector, their prices start moving. We have seen that of Forty Oil and we have seen that of Wole. If you look at Eternal Oil too, it's a stock, as you have rightly said, that has gained over 111% this year, and the price is still moving up. So you are going to see many investors creating interest in this sector, even as government is trying to deregulate the sector, and it's going to spin off for profit for investors at the end of the day, because it's going to add value to their investment.
What about international breweries? Why is that moving? It's up 60% this year. It was one of the top performers last year. I think again well over 200%. We know that SAP Miller is invested in that company now, but some people are already thinking that the price was quite rich at the stage, but now it's up to almost 26 naira. So your thoughts on why we're continuing to see a lot of interest in that stock?
Yes, if you look at international brewery, you see that people that are actually investing in international breweries now are mostly long-term investors. Looking at the new investor coming into the company, the information around the market is that they want to acquire some breweries in Nigeria, which is going to deliver long-term value for investors. So even investing in it now at the current market price, we see a long-term value for this company, and that is why people are positioning there. And many people, just as I said earlier on, that people that are actually investing in the stock now are long-term investors, which are not speculating for maybe capital appreciation or not. They are actually looking at the long-term value that will be delivered by the company at the end of the day. Because with the new investor, coupled with all other breweries that they are trying to acquire, are going to see a situation whereby this company will become one of the largest breweries in Nigeria, and that is going to deliver value to investors. So it's more or less of a long-term value rather than short-term value, and that's why you are seeing this price movement in the company.
Well, in terms of being one of the largest brewers in Nigeria, they certainly have to compete with the likes of Nigerian breweries and Guinness, which of course is owned by Diageo. But I'm looking at the top gainers for this year, and the top 10, we have companies gaining well over 50%. To me, that gives me the impression that this is the time to speculate in this market. So I want us to end on this note. Your thoughts about short-term speculative opportunities in this market going into February. We know the earnings season is coming. We know that there's value in the banks. There's no doubt about it. But in the short term, do you think that it's the banks that are really going to outperform the market going into February?
Seriously, if you look at the NSE indices now, you will see that NSE banking is actually outperforming all share index. If you look at NSE oil and gas, you will see that it's outperforming all share index. If you look at NSE consumer goods, that one is underperforming that of all share index. So we are going to see some values even in the banking sector. Looking at some of them now, some of them are RPE that is less than 10 times. So because of that, there is still a potential for growth in most of them, most especially when you look at banks like Diamond Bank, UBA, Sterling Bank. You will see that all these banks are still trading below PE of 10 times, so which actually position them for growth potential. Not that alone, you also know that most of these banks, they have their accounting year ended 31st December 2011. They are going to release their result towards the end of March, and with this, when they begin to declare good results and release dividend for shareholders, they are going to see more activities in all these bank stocks, and you are going to see more price appreciation. So from speculative point of view, people can still position themselves in some of these banking stocks. Most of them are trading actually below 7 naira now, which position them, and these are the stocks that when you value them, they actually worth 6 naira based on what they have done and based on their net asset value. And if you go by price earnings multiples, they should be trading about 10 naira now. So people that are buying into these stocks, they can actually speculate for them. And not that alone, don't forget that as banks will begin to release their results in March, mid-year corporate action will join them for all those companies that are non-banking sector. And you are going to see this trend that we are witnessing now to continue up to the middle of the year.